Hello, my name is Anne, and this is Toby. And welcome to a Toby Knits podcast, episode 195, take 2. Yes, yesterday I recorded for 45 minutes, maybe more. There was a beautiful scene of the snow gently falling because we had a lot of snow yesterday. And when I went to edit it back a bit later, there was no sound. None. Apparently, I had plugged in my new microphone and not turned it on. So, all that to say, today we're talking about the knitting and the crochet. So, if you're interested in that and all my plans for 2026, grab a cup of tea. You will need it. You will also most definitely need a biscuit. So, are you comfy? Let's begin. Actually, before we go any further, I would like to say thank you, a huge thank you to all my regular subscribers. What a fabulous Vlogmas we had together. Oh, I loved every minute of it. And I'm so glad you came along for the ride. And all the new subscribers I have since got, thank you for giving me a shot. I love showing my crafts. I love talking about my crafts, which is knitting, crochet, cross stitch, embroidery, quilting. I love sharing with you, and I'm super glad that you've chosen to stick by me and enjoy it too. I also do have, if you didn't know, I do have a group page called Toby Knits and Friends on Facebook, and if you want to go over there and join, there's no questions to join, but I do check to make sure you're not what I think is a bot or whatever they call them, spammy things. But that's where we can all chat with each other. And I'll try to be a bit more active in it this year, and with my Toby Knits Facebook page too. But it's where you can show me what you're working on as well, because you know, it's all about the sharing and the caring. Anyway, what's happening this year? Well, my lovely son Andrew got me this book for Christmas, and I just love it because I had another one of those before last year, and I used it a lot, but this one seems to be a better layout for me. And anyway, I just really love it. Plus Andrew bought it me, so you know. So I'm starting this one, even though the other one isn't full, for 2026, because I think that would be fun. And what is in that I'm doing is I'm doing the 12 cast-ons, which was started, I think, by Angela of Yarn and Yarns, I think. And I think she's done this for years. Every year she's done this. And a couple of others have jumped on to do it. I know Linda from Disley Sisters is doing it. I know Alice from Soxy Nana Alice is doing it, and there could be a bunch more. I just have forgotten them all off the top of my head right now because I just woke up from a nap, so you know, that's what happens. Anyway, honey and hibiscus. It's very interesting. It's not quite like Tetley, but you know what I mean. So I'm not doing 12 cast-ons, she says. Well, I'm doing 10 right now, and the other 2 might come later on in the year. I'm not sure. I don't want to dedicate everything to the 10 right now, to the 12 right now, just 10. How that's working for me is every day since December the 31st, I have cast on, or will be casting on, 10 new projects. And these projects I have picked either because I have the yarn already and I've wanted to use it for something. B, the pattern was gifted to me and I've been dying to make it. C, somebody's asked me to make this in the family for them. So I've either had to source the yarn because I didn't have it here. And A, B, C, D, D, I just wanted to, you know. Now, the plan, I'll get to the plan after. Let's start with the first cast on that I did. And my lovely notes here will tell me all. Now, I have to find the bag because there's that many bags on the floor beside me. That'd be a blinking miracle if I grabbed the first one right, but I did. So this is the Key Mittens by Petite Knits. And I made a pair of mittens years ago from a kit that came from God's House Yarns. I think they were called the HPC mittens. I'd have to find them. Hudson Bay mittens or something. I'll have to find them. I could have given them away. I don't know. Anyway, so this is what I want to make these mittens out of. And this is Cascade 220 yarn. I have no idea what the colorways are because it's not on them. But this is yarn I had in stash. And I have a new jacket that Bob bought me just before Christmas. And these are the colors. It's mostly beige, but has white fluffy bits and a white fluffy hood. So I thought these would be perfect for my new jacket. And this is what I cast on and knit. Whoops, let me get rid of this little tail there. I'm going to go in there. There we go. This is what I cast on and knit on New Year's Eve. We didn't go anywhere. We just stayed home. We watched the hockey game. In fact, we ended up going to bed at 10:30. But this is that. And this is very interesting. This is why I love this book, because I wouldn't have been able to remember to tell you this otherwise. It used an Italian cast on. I've never done that before, ever. Very interesting cast on. And you actually do 2 rows of double knitting after you've cast on with this Italian cast on. So you can see we don't join till the 3rd row. Very interesting. Very interesting. And of course, this is just twisted rib, knit, purl 1, knit through the back loop, which gives you a lovely cinchy cuff. And then I did the cuff on 3.5 DPNs because I didn't have that in a well, I did, but it was on some of the needles or something else. And then I switched to the 4 mil for this part, and it's just lovely. I just love it. Now, this is also very interesting because we haven't started the thumb gusset yet either. And I'm doing another pair of mittens, and you'll see from that one, we went straight into the thumb gusset after the cuff. So I'm going to be very interesting to see which kind I like. I'm learning so much already just from these 10 cast-ons, and not any of them were picked to teach me something or for me to learn a new stitch or a new skill. No, I just picked the patterns because I loved them or they were gifted. And while I'm knitting them, I'm finding that I'm learning new things, like this Italian cast on, and like the double knitting we had to do at the edge here. It's just very interesting. Anyway, so that was the first thing that I cast on. And then as soon as I finished knitting that part, or up to however long I was able to sit and knit this project, it got put in the craft room. Because January the 1st, I cast on the Edgar Slipover by Johanna Gurish. Oh, that's just a second now. Sorry, I should have showed you this. This is the Key Mittens. Aren't they lovely? So that's the Key Mittens. So that was New Year's Eve. New Year's Day is the Edgar Slipover. And it has this lovely twisted rib all the way down the side. And I was gifted this pattern by my friend Sue, and she's also knitting this, as well as our other friend Liz. So all three of us are doing this. And I had some yarn in stash, which is this. It's a very interesting yarn. It's very nice to knit with. It's from, just an acrylic, and I think it's made in Turkey. And it's actually a DK. However, it's very, sorry, it's a worsted weight. It's a 4, but it's very thin, but it's actually very drapey and it's lovely. So I got started on that, and here's where I am. So there's the lovely twisted rib, and then that's how much I got done the New Year's Day while we were in watching TV. And there's the wrong side, again with the twisted rib, and good. So this is it, and it's going to be lovely. And this is dreadfully interesting as well, in that I do believe we join it in the round, but at first we start with the back. So we do the back for a while, and then we join in shoulders, and it's going to be very interesting. It was hard at the beginning to just try to figure out what we were doing. Like, I kept looking at it and thinking, what is anyway, that was what I cast on New Year's Day. So January the 2nd. Oh yes, where are they? Oh, I think they're in this one. Oh, I'm getting so good at this. Was Coastal Drift Mittens by Manon Drolet. Sorry, I'm just showing you the paper because I'm too lazy to find the pattern and put it on the screen for you. Aren't they lovely? So my friend Diane from My Pink Bathtub gifted me that and the yarn a couple of months ago, and I've been dying to make these gloves, dying to make them. And again, dreadfully interesting stitch. This is as far as I got. And you'll notice we started the thumb gusset right off the bat. Oh, so nice. This yarn is a Heritage, I think. I think it is. Hang on. Oh no, Vintage, Barocco Vintage DK. And I couldn't tell you what the colorway is because it's not on here. But it's so interesting, this one, because we had the twisted rib, but we started out by doing a garter, no, plain knit, sorry, for 3 rows, so it rolls up to make a rolled hem. Never done that before, especially on a pair of mittens, but look what a lovely, it just makes this lovely roll at the bottom, and then straight into our twisted rib. So that was lovely. And then, as I say, we're starting the gusset right off the bat, which was a little bit on the difficult side. Well, it's not really difficult, in that you've got 2 things going on at the same time. You've got a 3 round gusset increase, and you've got a 2 round pattern. And this pattern is called the caliper stitch. She does have instructions on to go and find a video to watch of her doing them, but it's really interesting. So I've had to set two counters on my knit companion, one for the 2 row repeat. Mind you, it's to the point now where I've got into the pattern this far that I actually know whether I'm on the twisting part or I'm on the drop stitch part. I know that sounds terrifying, but it's very easy. so because I typically read my knitting, I just always have been able to do that. So I can generally tell what row I'm on now, but just in case I've still been marking 1, 2, and then this is a 3-row repeat because every 3rd row we're doing the increase. So I've been marking that, and you know, as soon as I've completed a row, I hit the 1 counter and the 2nd counter, so I know where I am. But it's lovely, and they're going to be so cozy. So I'm really enjoying this one. So that's what I got done on January the 2nd. So that was my 3rd cast on of the 10. Let me put that back in the bag so I do not lose it. And again, I cast the cuffs on with DPNs because I just didn't have circulars in that size. They were somewhere else, and then went to the DPN, to the circulars for the main piece. The 4th cast on, which was January the 3rd, is in my Toft bag from last Christmas. Bit of a problem with this, as in, I did the Toft Advent last year, loved every minute of it. I cannot find any of the leftover yarn from that. No, and there was definitely leftover. Nor can I find any of the stitch markers, or what do they call them? Centralizers, progress keepers, anywhere. I don't know what I've done with them. I'll probably find them when I'm not looking for them. Anyway, what this is, and here is a picture because I don't think I printed this one out, but did I? No, I don't think I did. No. So this is a little pig, and the pig's name is Richard, and I have ordered the kit from Toft. I ordered it, December 20th, and because I loved doing so much the 2 Advents that I've done, and they're the only Toft things I've ever made, that I wanted to do something else and get a full kit and see what they were like. And I thought this little pig looked lovely. And they were doing a crochet along that started January the 2nd. You can still join in. I believe it's free. The pattern I picked up free on their website. And if you've never crocheted before, you want to learn to crochet, or you need to brush up your skills, this blanket is taking you through all the different stitches that you can make squares out of. And her step-by-step instruction is amazing. I have crocheted for years, but I've always been, you know, do you ever get to that point where you turn your work, you chain 3, do you go into that first stitch? Do you go into the stitch after it? Like, what do you do when you get to the end? Like, do you go into the chain from the, like, half the time I guessed. It always looked right, but I don't know if I was doing it right because I taught myself how to crochet. Well, I shouldn't say that, my grandmother did, but like eons ago. I think I was about 8. And who remembers that? Not me. So I wanted to make the pig, and the pig comes with this little blanket, as I'm saying, that you wrap it up in because it's called Pigs in a Blanket. And I didn't order the kit for the blanket stuff because I had enough Stylecraft DK at home scraps of that I thought I'll just use that. So I'm only making the smaller of the 2 blanket sizes, which just consists of 12 squares. And here, I think it's 12 squares. This was square number 1, and it's just, in this country, you would call it, and in the US, you would call it double knit. In the UK, we call this treble, a treble crochet, but you would call it a double crochet. So, and then we did a single crochet around the edge, or in the UK, we would call that a double. And the pattern is written in UK terms, so that was easy enough for me. I do know both terms. And I think a seasoned crocheter would also know both terms, but a newbie might not. But again, she does tell you both terminology. So we had to make 4 of these. We had to make 1 in this color, 1 in this color, and 2 in this color. But I haven't made the second one yet. So 2 in that color. And that was what we did on Tuesday. And she's bringing out, so today, no, sorry, we did that Friday. I beg your pardon. Yeah, Friday. Yeah, Friday the 3rd of January, sorry. And today, Tuesday, she released another square that we are going to do, and it's the waffle block square. Ooh, I have done that stitch before too, but again, I'd forgotten how to do it. So it's great watching her instructions. So there is that, and the colors I'm using are this kind of greeny color, this pinky color, a darker green, the yellow, and the claret color. So these are my colors for his blanket that will wrap around him. And I think the kids will just absolutely love playing with this little pig. It'd be interesting to see which one swipes it and takes it home. I had such a hard time over here. Where are they? Oh no, let me move the chair that way. There. You see these little people here? I made those about, okay, how old is some 5? So I made these 5 years ago. There's the king, which is Papa. There's the queen, which is Nana. There's the drummer boy, which was Andrew, because he plays drums. And then there was Toby. And I was going to make the whole family and do it all, but I never got around to it, as you do. You know, squirrel, something else came along, and off I went. Tristan was obsessed with the dog, the little tiny dog thing, and he would carry that everywhere whenever he came over. And at the time, if you remember, when he turned 14 months old, I babysat him 3 days a week from 8, 9 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, because Mommy had gone back to work and they couldn't get daycare because it was still COVID. So Nana looked after him. And if we went anywhere in the pram, up into, in the stroller, up to the village, he had to take this dog with him, the little tiny dog, and clutched it in his hands. So a few times he tried to take it home and I kept saying, oh, no, 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 it's got to stay here. It needs to be with the queen and the king. So I don't think he quite got that whole Nana and Papa are the king and the queen. But anyway, it was fun to do. And so I want to get back into doing, I did some of the knitted gnomes last year as well, and I enjoyed doing them. But crochet goes faster with animals and they're more cuter. I don't know. So anyway, I ordered the pig and it's on its way. And it will be part of the 10 cast-ons. And, but in the meantime, I started to work on the blanket because I already had Stylecraft DK yarn that I could use for the blanket. So that's that one. And it's a lot of fun. The size is only, I think they're 12 by 12 centimeters. So they're not very big. And the pattern said to start with a 4.5. But my gauge was too big. The square came out too big, the first one I made. So I dropped down to a 4 mil and it, perfect, perfect, perfect. The next one on the needles, and this is for Miss Megan. And it's another muscle bar. I've made 4 of them. The first one I made was for Sean. The second one I made was for Andrew. Then I made one for Caroline. And then just this past Christmas, I made one for Bob. So this one is for Caroline. And look at this gorgeous yarn I'm using. No, Megan. This is the lovely yarn I'm using. And this is yarn that I picked up when I was with my dad and my brother and Bob in Calgary in May. And this is the Vintage Ancient Arts, which I love their yarn. And this was the colorway for May, which was Spring Frost. They use Socornado as their base, which is 80% superwash fine merino, 20% nylon. Now I do find this yarn a tiny bit thicker than any other fingering weight yarn I've used. You can see it is quite a thicker, plumper, reminds me a bit of Stroll. Anyway, so my gauge was a little different with it. Instead of getting my typical 7 stitches per inch, I got 6. That's still fine. And it just tells you then what to cast on. I love this pattern so much for that reason. You can knit it with any yarn anywhere, and you just have to, after you've done the increases, and I did a different cast on for this. Yes, there's a giant hole, but I also have this lovely big tail that I can just swoop that in and it will be gone. But I always have a very difficult time casting on at the beginning, so I did something a little different with it. Oh, I dropped a stitch there we go. I did something just a little tiny bit different this time for my cast on, in that I cast on with long tail cast on the 8 stitches you start with, but I put them on 1 DPN. Then from there I did all the knit front backs, and as I did the knit front back, I put them onto the, so that ended up being 4 stitches per needle by the time I got them all on the 4 needles, and then joined. So I just found it way easier for me than casting on and doing that pinhole, keyhole, whatever it was, start in some other thing. So anyway, so this is it. It is gorgeous. I am now to the point where I've finished and just done my last decrease, and I'm ready to just knit and knit and knit. So that's what I got cast on and started on January the 4th. And this will now become car knitting. So anytime I go out in the car, it will come with me. And the last thing I cast on, which was yesterday, the last thing, which was on January the 5th. This is for Lucia, who is my stepdaughter's stepdaughter. So we're just from here on in calling Lucia my step-grandchild, because there's way too many steps. And her and Carrie had gone to a, that wasn't very good English. Carrie and Lucia had gone to a end of hockey season or Christmas party or something. And there was a silent auction. And Lucia fell in love with this blanket. They put a bid on it, but they didn't win it. So Carrie reached out to me and said, could you make something like this for Lucia? And I said, absolutely, I can. So I ordered the yarn. I got it from Mary Maxim. It was here in like 4 days. And the yarn I'm using is this Premium Parfait. I'd never heard of this brand before, but I almost feel it's again from Turkey, or made in Turkey. It's from North Carolina, I believe. And it's a chunky weight, a 6. And it's that lovely chenille. It's polyester, I think. Where does it tell me what's in here? Yeah, 100% polyester, and it's 100 grams. So I got this color, I got black, I got yellow, and I got a green. And these are the colors of Lucia's brother's hockey team. So she wanted this blanket for when she's at her brother's hockey game. Now, on the website for Premium Yarn, you will find this pattern, and it's a free pattern. And yes, here it is. So that's what I did last night or yesterday through the day. Isn't that lovely? It is so soft. She may not get this. So I'm just doing a lap blanket for her. And this blanket is actually called the Herringbone Throw. And the stitch is the herringbone stitch. Something, again, I have learned, didn't know how to do before. and it's very like a half double crochet. Very like that. But it is lovely. I'm not sure which is the right side, to be honest with you. I feel like that is. Yeah, I think that might be the right side, because it looks like the stitch is on a slant as opposed. I actually can't tell. I can't tell. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Gosh, it really blows out the light. So that's what I got started on. Now, the only problem is I only got, the pattern called for 4 balls of 100 gram of the chenille. And I only got 4 balls, 4 different colors. And I think what I should have done, oh, I see, I'm losing a stitch there. I think what I should have done is I should have just used all the green until it was done and then go into the next color, but I didn't, because of course I was trying to make it all fancy and do so many rows of each color. And so I've only got this much yarn left. Now I don't want to buy any more because, you know, and by the way, this is not very expensive yarn, considering the chenille yarn you can buy at like Walmart or somewhere else. So my plan is to weigh this, work out how much is left, then minus it from the 100 grams, then divide that amount by 10, because I did 10 rows. So that will tell me how many grams equals a row. And then say this ends up being 2 or 3 or 4 rows, what I'm going to do is divide that by 2. It's a lot of math going on here. God only knows if I'm doing it right. Then when I get to the end of doing my 10 rows of the 4 colors, I will stripe at the bottom and the top what's left of each of the balls. So they come in with smaller stripes and go big stripes in the middle. It was either that or take back that yellow I'd started and then just keep doing this. Anyway, you can all comment and tell me what you think I should do, because I won't be back at this for a while. And again, I'll explain why. Today, I am supposed to be going to, I was hoping the pig would be here today, but he's not. I was also hoping the yarn for this would be here today, because I'm making that for Sunny. And I think this is the colorway that I ordered. So you can make it as a cardigan or sweater, but Megan asked for a sweater for Sunny. And of course, I'm going to make the smallest size I can, and it probably still won't fit her. But neither of those 2 yarns are here, and neither is my pig. So today I shall be casting on this. I do have the yarn for that and all the needles. And this is called the Woodland Whisper Cardigan by Christi Archer. And I don't know if you can see, but down the sleeves, there are cables, and there's nothing anywhere else. It's just down the sleeves, which I thought was lovely, because sleeves are kind of a boring thing to knit, right? You can make it like this with a hood. I'm not doing the hood, but I will be casting that on this evening while I watch TV. So those are so far 6 cast-ons, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that I've cast on. That will be 7. The pig will be 8 when I get it. 9 will be the yarn for Sunny's sweater, and 10 is the yarn for, what's the other one? I don't have my other book with me to tell you what my 10 things were. There was a 10th one. Oh. I don't know. I don't remember. But there were 10. And I know I'm waiting for yarn for some of them. Oh, I know what the 10th one was. Duh. socks, because I have a new sock machine, which has been very hard to work. Can we just say? I was having a lot of trouble with it. I finally think I've got it now. I did a good practice on it yesterday, and I think I've finally got it to do what it's supposed to do, but I think I need more weights. So Bob and I are going to go and see what weights we can come up with at Canadian Tire, maybe in the fishing section or something. But I need something underneath. I've got plenty of soft weights to go in. They're 2 pounds, 1 pound, 1 pound. So I have like 4 pounds of soft weights to go in, but I need something else to still pull from the bottom. So once that starts working and I start cranking out some socks, then I will have socks on the go all the time. I'll just be making, they're just gonna be tubes. I'm not going to do anything fancy just yet. Thank you very much. So this has been enough. And then I will, oh, I need that. And then I will just do the heels, toes, and cuffs with all my socks. And that will just be the 10th cast on. So how is this going to work? Because then you've got whips. I know I have whips. I know. I actually have 6 whips, not including 2 that have been put away for the fall, or 4 blanket whips that are downstairs. We're not talking about them. We are talking about the Sophie hood, which, after much conversations with some of you, thank you very much for all your comments. I really appreciated your comments on it. I have decided, where is that coming from? Are you joking right now? It's all tangled up somewhere. Oh, well, never mind. I decided to rip back. Oh my gosh, where is this from? 1 minute. I'm in quite the pickle here with this in the bag. And where's this bit here going? This bit is coming, oh, from there. I see. When you have a bag with handles, and this is a little bag I made ages ago, and it's very cute. It's like a bucket bag. There's no handles on it. It's just a bucket bag. And it does hold quite a lot, but the handles get in the way quite often. So I pulled back the Sophie hood, as you know. So that's 1 full ball of wool. This was the Knit Crate something or another wool that you can't get because Knit Crate went under or stopped or whatever. And this was this one I pulled back, and I pulled all the way back. Now I figured I would just have to pull all the way back to the start of the hood. No, I had to go further back than that. I had to keep ripping it out and then putting them on the needles and counting them, and oh, still not enough, ripping them out and counting all my rows up. I mean, thank goodness it's in garter stitch. It took me quite a while to rip back, and so this is where I wound up, and I had the right number of stitches, but I did not have the right number of rows. So I had a little think about it, and then I thought, oh, Anne, you have to just add, 6 rows or whatever it was. It's a 6-round repeat. So I just added some more just regular, no increase rows to it. And now I'm at the right part where I'm now going to start the decrease. So I will have plenty of yarn to do this. I just did not have enough yarn to do the hood. And I think this is going to be nicer. I really love the look of the Sophie shawl and how it works. And I think it's going to be lovely. So I'm quite happy. And I also do not think this is going to take a long time to knit. So here is the plan. And you'll understand why this is going to work. It is. Because the plan, once I've cast on, like for example, if I don't get either of the wool's yarns I'm looking for or get a sock tube done in the next 3 days, then I just go back to my whips. And as soon as those new yarns come in, those cast-ons will get done, so long as they're done by the end of this month. That's how it works. So you can still join in now if you want to do this. And you don't have to pick 10. You don't have to pick 12. You can just pick 2 if that's what you want. But you have to pick 2 that you're going to cast on, or 3 or whatever, and get them cast on before the end of January. So once I've got them all cast on, they get left now. And I go back to my whips and I finish my whips. So for example, this, I don't think this will take long to finish. So as soon as I get this finished, and it might become a monogamous stitch until I get it finished, a new one that I just cast on comes out to play. So I've got this. I've got the Wildwood shawl, which was from the Bakery Bears, and it was the Advent knit-along that we did for Advent on their Patreon page. And this is as far as I got. It was a lovely knit-along to do. The only trouble was there's so many stitches on this needle. This is why I hate doing shawls. I don't know why I keep doing shawls, because I have more than I need. But yeah, I just get sucked into these mysteries and stuff. And I just fell in love with this, and it's very easy, it's just garter stitch. It's very easy. It's a lovely turnover when you change the colors of the yarn. You get these little kind of cute running stitches. So we're supposed to be doing, we've done all 5 colors, and now we're repeating the 5 colors. But I'm not going to do all 5 colors again and then start the border, because I don't like a big shawl. So my plan for this is to just do the gray, which I'm about to cast on. In fact, I have cast the gray on. So it'll just be the gray and the dark green, and then I'm going to do the border, because it's a 2-color border in these 2 colors, which I think will be nice and lighten it up. So this is a whip that will get finished. So there's that one. Then the other shawl that I have on is the mixed media shawl, and a bunch of us were doing this. So this is crochet in the middle. We started off and did all this crochet. That's how it started. And then we went to knitting, and we are now knitting, and again it's garter stitch with an eyelet row here. That's better. And there are a bunch of these. I think there might be 6, I'm not sure, but I don't want to do 6 because, again, I don't like a big shawl. I love the colors of this. I hand-dyed this yarn myself. This was originally for my Stephen West, but I didn't like it. So I pulled it out before we got too far into it, and I decided to make this because I love this. So I think I might do 3, maybe 4 of the garter blocks and the eyelets on that one. So these 2 I would like to, and the whole plan with these 6 whips I've pulled out is I want to finish them. I'm fed up of having things that sit there for ages, sometimes years, and don't get looked at because I keep finding shiny things. And this was why I wanted to do this 10 cast-ons, because these are my 10 cast-ons for the year now. And I'm giving myself the 2 from the 12, that if there's something that happens later on in the spring, in the summer, in the fall, and I want to take part in that, or I want to knit that thing, that will be the 11th and 12th cast-ons. But that's it. These are all I want to enjoy and cast on for the year and finish. Notice I said the word finish. Then there's Pinocchio. So Pinocchio needs to be finished. I've got that, and this is, I've got all the pieces. They now all have to get put together with other little bits that you might have to, like he has to have tendrils or something and arms, I'm not sure, but so there are other bits that have to be done to put him together. And this was our Toft Advent throughout the whole month of December. Absolutely fabulous. Loved every minute of this. And, oh, it was awesome. Do I want to make the puppet? No. So there will be bits I'm not going to do. I'm not going to make the strings, the chain strings for him. I'm not going to make the tail, the donkey tail, because I don't want him to turn into a donkey. I have done the ears, but again, I don't care. I'm not going to use them. I just want to make him Pinocchio, the little boy that he turns into from the puppet boy. And so I have to finish this, and I think this will be a fairly quick. That's a sit down one day and just one weekend and just work on that all weekend and get it caught up. So I think that'll be fun. I also, big cheat moment here, have a dishcloth that I started last February. You might all remember this fabulous idea I have of doing a dishcloth a month with the temperatures. And I did one, and that's already finished. And then this was the second one, and I obviously didn't finish it. So my plan is to just knit with this because it's attached and just carry on to make it the square it's supposed to be. I'm not sure how many more rows I have to do. Not sure, probably 5 or 6, maybe 8. And then it's finished. So that will be a really fast finish. So I can pull one of the others out. That's definitely cheating, but it's still a whip on the needles, right? That has to be finished. And the 6th whip is Bob's sweater. And this is the Pemberton pullover. I love this sweater. And this has been on the needles. Oh my gosh. I feel like it's 3 or 4 years. So it's time to finish it for him. And this is the 2nd sleeve. I started this on when we were in Nova Scotia at Christmas, and it was my car knitting on the way home because it was a 14-hour drive. So this is how far I've got with that. And I have 4, their increases are every 6 rows, and I mark them with a light bulb. Where did it go? There. So I can see I've got 2 more rows before those 6 are finished, and I start with my increase and knit my 6 rows. The plan, I think I've got 4 more to go of the increases before I start the raglan drop cap sleeve, whatever you call it, which looks like that. So I've got 4 more of these to go till I get to that part, and then I start this part. And this goes quickly because you're decreasing and decreasing and decreasing constantly, so that'll go quick. And then all I have to do is put it together and do the neckband. So I really had wanted to get that finished for him for Christmas. Never happened. I really wanted to finish it for the end of the year. It never happened. So it's just going to be a case of, once I've got all the cast-ons on the needles and in here, I'm just going to pick up either Sophie or the sweater and knit on it until it's finished. And then keep going, you know, so that, you know, the Sophie scarf won't take long, Pinocchio won't take long, the Pemberton pullover shouldn't take long, the dishcloth won't take long. The only 2 that will take me a long time is the wildlife shawl and the mixed media shawl, just because there's so many stitches on the needle. But again, once one of the other 4 are done, I can pull in, you know, the key mittens or something like that and work on and that stuff. I might cheat and keep adding the squares to the Toft blanket just because they come out twice a week and I don't want to get too behind with them. It is a crochet along. So that is all I have for you. And oh my gosh, I told you you would need a biscuit and a cup of tea. I'm super excited about all my cast-ons, and I'm super excited about my knitting. Remember a few months ago I totally lost my mojo for knitting? What's back? And I'm so excited. Now, a few people did say they like my weekly videos. However, in order for me to get stuff done to show you, and I have a tremendous amount of cross-stitch whips as well. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to Mondays will be knitting, which it is. And then the following week, it'll be the Wednesday for cross stitch. So they'll be alternated. You'll get a video every week basically, but it'll be 2 weeks between each of the actual topics. So it gives me time to catch up and get stuff done for you. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm only recording once a week, and you still get to see me once a week. I think we'll do that. Now, if any of you ever want to do a live with me, let me know and we can do something like that, or even a Zoom. I really fancy having a go at a Zoom meeting where I can see you, and then, you know, we can chit chat. And that doesn't have to be recorded and put up on YouTube either. We can just have that for ourselves. Does anybody have Teams? Because then I can invite you to the Teams, because I have Teams. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm waffling. So I have to clean this mess up, go on and get a warmer cup of tea, and start my new cast on. So I'll talk to you all in 2 weeks. No, Wednesday, next Wednesday. Yeah. Okay, bye.